This video is a complete takedown of Logan Paul's live-filled response to COFFEEZILLA'S scam allegations, argument by argument, point by point. In order to fully understand this video, I highly recommend you watch COFFEEZILLA'S 3-part video series exposing Logan Paul for scamming his viewers with the falsely advertised crypto NFT project CryptoZoo. These videos are integral in order to understand the full picture of this situation, and I will have them linked down below. Alright, so yesterday Logan Paul finally dropped his highly anticipated response video to COFFEEZILLA'S scam allegations, and we are gonna waste no time and jump right into it.
COFFEEZILLA. I watched your 3-part series called Investigating Logan Paul's Biggest Scam, and like many on this platform, you have successfully used my name for views and money.
So apparently, Logan Paul's opening argument consists of him accusing COFFEEZILLA of using his name to gain views, and this line of thinking is not only completely outdated, but also very hypocritical coming from Logan Paul out of all people. Alright, so first of all, 50% of YouTubers nowadays release content talking about other people. Obviously, there are still certain types of content genres like gaming, vlogs, or cooking videos where it's just one person or one group making entirely original content, but then there's also news channels, commentary channels, call out videos, collaborations, etc., where you could argue that yeah, YouTubers are potentially profiting off talking about other people or having other people in their videos. But how is that even remotely a bad thing? I don't understand that at all. Like me, for instance, making content about Adin Ross promoting crypto scams and causing his audience to lose a lot of money in the process is objectively something positive, because it would call out the YouTuber Adin Ross for his immoral actions, it would inform his audience of his wrongdoing, and it would scare off other influencers from doing the same, because then they would know that it could potentially lead to massive backlash. But even ignoring all that, if Logan Paul really thinks making content about other people means you are using them for views, then why did he drop a 2-hour podcast a few weeks ago where he spent 75% of the runtime talking about Andrew Tate, the Liver King, Dana White, Paddy Pimblett? Like, you're also talking about other people for views, and also you're bringing someone like Wiz Khalifa on your podcast. That definitely counts as using someone else's face for attention if we follow your own logic. So overall, this is a very weak opening argument from Logan Paul, but let's see what he follows it up with.
COFFEEZILLA tried to work with law enforcement in the past, but his work was described as not anchored to truth and often speculative. He is a lopsided journalist with an agenda, and he's nothing more than the Keemstar of crypto and finance.
Okay, so this reveals a lot about Logan Paul's tactics going into this video. Before even engaging with any of COFFEEZILLA'S actual talking points, he decides to instead try to attack him as a person and damage his credibility by implying that he is an untrustworthy creator. But guess what? This defamation of character is not gonna work, because Logan Paul's argument makes no sense, because the police not wanting to work with COFFEEZILLA has nothing to do with his content apparently being speculative or misleading. No, the police are just 40 years behind when it comes to persecuting crime in the internet, because I could literally run a sting operation right now, making someone like EDP445 meet up with a 13-year-old, and I could record everything, provide full evidence, and the police would just dismiss it as entrapment, or it would take literal years for anything to actually happen, because law enforcement are like dinosaurs. Celebrities can get away with scamming their audience. Every second children's YouTuber turns out to be a groomer or a pedophile or both, and the police just can't do anything about it, because the majority of law enforcement are incapable of doing anything of use when it comes to internet crime, unless the person committing the crime is someone incredibly high profile. But when it comes to this internet crime stuff, the police are just severely behind, and they have a lot of catching up to do. And until then, I don't even think it makes sense to cooperate with the police in any sophisticated manner, because they would largely hinder you in your investigation. So the police now wanting to work with COFFEEZILLA not only has nothing to do with the case at hand, but it's also fundamentally a very flawed argument. And by the way, him calling COFFEEZILLA the Keemstar of finance is a complete 180 from just a few weeks ago, when Logan Paul actually described COFFEEZILLA as a creative genius with an exceptional work ethic, which is already just another massive contradiction.
Coffee, you interviewed the developer who stole the game code, fled to Switzerland, and held it hostage for $1 million. Well, his name is Zach Kelling. Surely, as the internet detective that you proclaim to be, you would know that he spent time in prison for multiple felonies, one for aggravated robbery, armed robbery at a liquor store, and the other for, surprise, obstructing the legal process. Wouldn't someone with journalistic integrity know their credible source had not only an agenda, but a fondness for orange jumpsuits?
Alright, so this is one of the worst arguments Logan Paul presents in his whole response video. He's trying to say, oh look guys, this untrustworthy COFFEEZILLA guy uses a criminal as his source, therefore his claims against me must be fake, which is just laughable in so many ways, because first of all, look at the date of these convictions. It's from fucking 2002, that's 20 years ago, man. Are you seriously trying to say that he can't be trusted because he committed a crime 20 years ago? That's so long ago that I wasn't even born yet that year. Like, that makes no sense. Logan Paul himself was last arrested like 4 years ago, so therefore by his own logic, his own word would be 5 times less trustworthy than COFFEEZILLA'S source. But let's entertain his delusions for a second. Let's pretend like him having committed a crime in 2002 makes him completely untrustworthy. Then why, Logan Paul, did you hire him to develop your crypto game? In your own eyes, you hired a criminal. That's embarrassingly hypocritical. Now, Logan Paul's excuse for this is that he apparently did not hire these people, but instead Eddie, another criminal employed by Logan Paul, was the one who decided to hire him. Now, obviously that by itself sounds extremely stupid. Like you're actually trying to say, oh, it's not this criminal, it's this other criminal that I hired. So in order to sound less stupid, his excuse here is that he has been fooled by this professional conman Eddie, just like a bunch of other people before him did.
What type of idiot would work with an unsavory individual like Zach Kelling? I guess that's what I get for trusting the team that I relied on to vet and manage Eddie's hiring process, who has turned out to be a professional conman that I have since learned fooled billionaires, the Mormon Church, the owner of the New York Yankees, and now me.
So now Logan Paul has a nice little story here. He just wanted to make an NFT crypto project, but unfortunately it has been sabotaged by this bad faith actor Eddie Martinez. And look how many other people he managed to fool as well. Therefore Logan Paul must just be as much of a victim as everyone else here, right? But sadly for Logan Paul, that story falls apart once he realized that the journalist who COFFEEZILLA interviewed in part 2 of his 3-part series actually reached out to Logan Paul and his manager in 2021. Before CryptoZoo even publicly launched, to tell them that this Eddie guy is actually a massive con man who lied about his entire previous achievements, which means Logan Paul and his team knew about Eddie's lies even before they publicly released their project, and they still went on to hire this criminal to make them this game. I can't stress this one enough, they willingly hired a person that they knew was a con man and criminal. Logan Paul's house of cards is falling apart as we speak, and by the way, even if Logan Paul wouldn't have known, he'd still be partially at fault for not properly researching the people he himself hired. If you willingly employ a bunch of criminals, you should not be surprised once they decide to screw you over. Logan Paul could have easily fact-checked Eddie's previous involvement in universities or in sports teams by just asking, and he didn't even have to do that because a journalist literally went to him with all the information that he needed, that this guy is a massive liar, and Logan still purposely ignored it.
Surely you knew Emilio, the gentleman who supposedly let his child invest in a cryptocurrency, was allegedly responsible for 2 rug pulls before you interviewed him. So either you missed that or you knew it and failed to let the public know.
Okay, so his next point is that out of the 20 or so people COFFEEZILLA interviewed, one turned out to be a crypto bro scammer person himself. I have no way to verify this claim in any way, by the way, but for the sake of arguing, I'ma just assume that what Logan Paul is saying here is at least mostly true. Even so, it still does not change a thing. What about the other 19 people COFFEEZILLA uses as a source? Do they not matter to you? What about the thousands of fans you have scammed by fooling them into investing into your quote-unquote game? Do you not care about them one bit? This argument is entirely pointless.
You seemed pretty excited when the guy told you that he couldn't hatch the eggs.
Wait, you can't even hatch?
No, I'm telling you, it's just a picture.
You're kidding! You can't hatch?
You're kidding. You can't hatch?
You can't hatch?
Yeah, 1 second of research would prove that to be false, as you can definitely hatch eggs and even breed your animals.
Click on that. Oh, we got a duck.
And as you pointed out in your fine print, cross-hatching was available on ETH at one point, but you perpetuated the opposite as truth with your chest out.
Okay, so first of all, that's not the fine print. Fine print means something like at the bottom of a contract where it could be easily missed. But on COFFEEZILLA'S video, it's literally right there on the screen in impact font. Fine print would be something like if you put it here. And also, yeah, it worked at some point, but you're not refuting that for a large amount of people it still does not work to this day, despite you claiming to have put millions of funds into this project. Apparently this guy spent $1 million on Pokemon Go eggs and stock images of animals. Also, I want want to address this little comment for a second here.
And by the way, guy, almost all NFTs are just pictures.
He's actually right. Most NFTs are worthless garbage because they're just online pictures. But you did not tell your fans that you're selling pictures. You told them they were buying eggs, which would then hatch animals you could play games with. This guy hyped this project up into oblivion. He even claimed that this quote-unquote game would be so successful and impactful that people's kids would want to play it and learn about the blockchain. It's not supposed to be just a picture by your own words. It's supposed to be revolutionary almost. So these people definitely have a right to expect way more than just a stupid link to a picture and some eggs that don't even work half the time.
A real internet detective would not break criminal and civil laws in trying to get information, right? So why have you allowed the illegal recording of Jeff's phone call without his permission? And then more like an internet criminal, post it online.
Okay, so Logan Paul's next point is that COFFEEZILLA illegally recorded a phone call between himself and Logan Paul's manager and then posted it online. Now firstly, newsflash, COFFEEZILLA resides in Texas, and according to Texas state law, you are allowed to record phone calls even without the other people in the call knowing that they are being recorded. So no, COFFEEZILLA is not some sort of criminal. He was well within his rights to record this conversation and post it online. And secondly, I want to go on the record here and say this. I don't care if you record private influencer phone calls. I genuinely despise all these fake ass influencers being like, oh, you're a criminal for recording this phone call in which I am a total piece of shit to you, or I myself discuss criminal stuff because you didn't have my permission to record me being an asshole, therefore I'm gonna sue you. That pisses me off so much. I want everybody to know, if I ever blow up on YouTube and I ever get the chance to be in a phone call where another YouTuber is discussing scamming his fans or saying stuff that contradicts previous public statements or anything like that, I will immediately record it and post it online 100% without a shadow of doubt. I hate influencers that try and be fake and hide their true nature from their fans. I will 100% expose these people if I ever get the chance. And I don't blame anyone illegally recording phone calls, even though COFFEEZILLA here did it legally. Because it's like, I could literally record EDP sexually harassing a minor in a phone call, and there would be people saying stuff like, oh man, you really violated his privacy by recording that. Like, no, fuck that guy, he's a piece of garbage. Obviously, you shouldn't like hack yourself into phone calls, but if you're being called, then you absolutely should be able to record, in my opinion.
Crypto King Jake stole $6 million. True or not, we had already removed him from the team when we realized he was a bad actor and his motives were purely financial.
Okay, so this is also not true. Back in 2020, Logan Paul actually got sold fake Pokemon cards by Crypto King, and every commentary YouTuber on the platform called out Crypto King, or Collectibles Guru as he was known back then, for obviously being the one who faked the cards, or at the very least, willingly buying falsified cards to sell to Logan Paul. And obviously, Jake the Crypto King was only involved in the Pokemon card market in order to inflate prices and make a massive amount of money. Like, that part was obvious from the start, so Logan Paul knew that Jake the Crypto King was completely untrustworthy, and he was also aware that he likely attempted to scam him, and responded by insulting people's appearance when he got called out on his scammy behavior in Logan Paul's video. And despite Logan knowing all of this, he still decided to start this project with him. If this is not malicious intent, it's at the very least willful ignorance. I need you to understand this. With both scammers, Eddie and Crypto King, Logan Paul knew about each of them and that they were massively untrustworthy beforehand, before even releasing CryptoZoo, and he still decided to go ahead with the project regardless. Logan, why are you surprised that the scammer you willingly hired attempted to scam you? Once a scammer, always a scammer. Remember that.
Even after 12 months of work, you've still managed to overlook one crucial piece of information. See, even though I've said it's coming so many times, you've assumed that CryptoZoo isn't being made. Who are you to decide when the development timeline ends?
Okay, so this shit actually pisses me off the most. Okay, we all know Logan Paul only even addressed the situation because the public pressure became too immense. For weeks, his socials have been flooded with comments asking about the situation, with him even turning off people's ability to comment on Instagram and blocking people that were talking about this on Twitter. So we can verify that Logan Paul initially tried to sweep this thing under the rug once COFFEEZILLA released this video. Well, here's the question. What do you think would have happened had COFFEEZILLA never decided to inform the general public about this scam? Well, he obviously would have never talked about this again. During the past year, Logan Paul only ever spoke about this project once, and that was on his CryptoZoo Discord, and it's literally just a random message. Logan refused to ever talk about this publicly for 1.5 years, and he would have continued to leave people in the dark had COFFEEZILLA never called him out. And I know this to be 100% true, because in 2022, Logan Paul released yet another NFT project, and while generating hype for this project, one of his fans asked if this new NFT project had something to do with CryptoZoo, and his response was literally saying no.
Is that the thing with the egg? Like the zoo?
No.
Okay,
This one's
This one's gonna be yeah. This will be crazy I've ever done.
Obviously, this guy never intended to do any work for this CryptoZoo project again. Let me put this into context. Logan Paul releasing this non-functional NFT project and then dropping another completely different project which he claims he put all of his time into a year later would be like me opening up a pizza place, telling everybody that this is gonna be the best pizza place ever opened, and then on launch day nobody is actually able to order anything besides salad, and I decide to leave the restaurant open, never going into it or talking about it for a year, and then 12 months later I open like a Taco Bell that actually has food in it. And once someone calls me out for there being no food in my initial restaurant for a year, I respond with, oh, who are you to decide that I gave up on this restaurant? I'm still trying to work things out, you know, even though I haven't done anything about it for a year. Like, no, things have been non-functional for over a year and you didn't address it once. You obviously intended for everyone to forget about this project.
I suggest you use the money you got from pumping your Patreon to hire a good lawyer. You're gonna need it.
Okay, so now he's announcing that he plans on suing COFFEEZILLA for publishing these videos about Logan Paul. Now obviously I don't agree with Logan Paul's claims that they are defamatory in the slightest. I think that all 3 videos are an example of accident journalism. But some people have been fooled into believing that Logan Paul actually has a leg to stand on if he were to sue COFFEEZILLA. And let me tell you, he definitely doesn't. His videos were not even remotely defamatory, but instead entirely objective, because there was no misleading information being spread and he has sources to verify his each and every claim. Plus, like I already said, he was well within his rights to record his call with Logan Paul's manager. Now, even if this somehow actually goes to court, I don't think Logan Paul realizes how much it would actually destroy his reputation. For him to openly be in court attempting to silence one of his critics, like, that would be the end of his career. That would never fly. Even if Coffee ever got wrongly sued by Logan Paul, literally everybody will have his back in terms of bringing attention to it and supporting him financially. Look, I have 52 euros in my bank account right now, and I would immediately and gladly give money to COFFEEZILLA if he needed it in order to win against Logan Paul and his team in court. Cause fuck Logan Paul, that guy is a scammer and we should try everything in order to prevent him from being able to get away from this with his reputation intact.
Maybe we could have talked about this if you had reached out to me, personally. Not my manager Jeff, who is not me, Steven, but the first time you did was on Christmas Eve after you released your series, so you could rely on false statements and unreliable people used recklessly.
So this is another laughable argument from Logan Paul. First of all, COFFEEZILLA immediately refuted this claim on Twitter by showing DMs from October 2021 asking Logan Paul to comment about this situation, to which he did not respond, unsurprisingly. So in reality, COFFEEZILLA tried reaching out to Logan Paul even way before attempting to contact his manager, even though that must have been extremely hard for him because Logan Paul basically had him blocked everywhere. And even before releasing the series altogether, he still reached out. So Logan Paul's claim that he first reached out only after dropping his series is simply completely incorrect. And also, your manager is literally the person everyone should contact if they are trying to reach out to you. Brands, YouTubers looking to collab, event organizers. Everyone reaches out to the management team in order to get into contact with a celebrity or an influencer. That's how it's done, and that's how it should be done. That's the whole point of having a fucking management team in the first place. And if your manager really is so incompetent that he would neglect to tell you about COFFEEZILLA attempting to reach out multiple times about you allegedly scamming your viewers, then I don't know what to tell you. You gotta hire a new manager or something, but again, it's your fault for hiring him in the first place if he's truly that incompetent. Alright, so now we covered every single one of Logan Paul's talking points and successfully refuted all of them, but now let's take a moment to mention what Logan Paul did not address in his response video. 1. There was zero mention of any updates regarding the Dingcoin coin scam or any other scam he had previously promoted. 2. Not once did he apologize or take accountability for any of his actions. And 3, he instead only pinned the blame on his team, the team he himself hired and put together. So overall, my review of Logan Paul's response is like a 1 out of 10, because he at least responded. That's what gives it a 1, otherwise it would be a 0. Every single claim is refutable, some claims are just fucking outright false, and his video overall doesn't make any sense. So like, my conclusion here is fuck Logan Paul, go sub to my channel, go sub to COFFEEZILLA, and yeah, I'll see you around.